Hello and welcome to Praying Rooms. This is Dr. Suzanne, and today I would like to talk about your marriage is your homework. What does that mean? As a woman, when you enter into a long-term relationship like the marriage, you need to assess what are the rules of engagement. What is your role in that man's life, and what is the agreement you signed yourself into? Because not all marriages are equal. I recently had a video where I was talking about 3 different types of marriages: the karmic, the soulmate, and the divine. And this is only important, especially the divine, if you are someone who is already highly refined spiritually, and you understand that you have a very important mission in the kingdom that must be impactful. Because as Christians, all of us have assignments here and there. Your assignment could be to finance the church, to clean the church, to sing, to give glory, to praise, to do the administration, little things like that, because we need everyone to be a part of the greater work. But there are some people who are destined for a larger, more impactful destiny in the kingdom, and those are usually better off in a divine type relationship. But whatever you signed yourself into, you need to do your homework. What do I mean by homework? In different types of marriages, there are different types of battles. If you are in a karmic relationship, how do you identify that? First of all, you are most likely not equally yoked. Not equally yoked means the spiritual covering, the spiritual umbrella on your heads are different. And that is the very reason why you will not have a lot of peace. Not that you're going to argue all the time, but there is going to be a subtle battle. There is going to be a lot of arguments. There's not going to be peace unless, you just keep quiet. Now, as women, if you're a Christian, we love to pray. We love to read the Bible. We love to go to church. And as you do that, let's say I'm talking about women, and I'm talking to women because I'm talking to you, the mother and the wife, who has to do your homework. I'm not talking about the men. So I'm going to assume that you are the Christian and the prayer warrior, and the man might not be, okay? This is just a type of marriage and relationship. It's not all of them. But I'm focusing on women, and I want to kind of give you an idea of what I mean by your marriage and your homework. So if you are in a karmic relationship, you are most likely unequally yoked, meaning that your husband is not under the same spiritual jurisdictions as you. If you are married to, let's say, a man from African origins, and we know that in a lot of families and tribes, the spiritual background of the family is very prominent. And let's say this guy is just a casual Christian. He prays for 2 minutes. He barely reads the Bible. He goes to church, knows a few songs, and that's all he does. If he is under this family spirit, I would say, spiritual umbrella, the more you as the wife begins to pray and fast and seek God, the more battles will begin to arise in your house, because now your altar, you building up an altar that is opposing his family altar. And you will begin to have issues that you don't even understand where they are coming from. All right. When you are in this type of marriage, your goal is to break generational curses that are coming from that family altar. And you yourself, you can also have generational curses in your own family that you need to identify and break. How do you go by? Figuring out what your mission is. You observe your husband and you look at his habits, his character, and the things he does that you don't like too much or are a little off. It could be anger, it could be stinginess. Stinginess is a problem. It's not just stinginess is a demon. It could be sexual perversion, masturbation, pornography, or whatever. And then you look the family patterns. Is it a family where there's poverty, specific infirmity, certain things that happen at a certain age, or certain habits that you begin to see in your children? Then you need to arise and fight to help break the generational curses. Sometimes if the family altar is too strong in the man and he is really not wanting to love and accept Jesus Christ truly, and he wants to continue the same patterns, then you might have to get out of this marriage at some point. I'm sorry, but this is the real truth. This is the truth. I know that in church, we want people to be happily ever married forever. But the reality of life is that sometimes even church girls marry to children of Satan. And they either sign up to stay in the marriage and be submissive and be beaten down. I know so many stories of women who got killed by their own husband in the marriage because the guy was not under the same spiritual covering as her. He was a demonic guy. And people always cover. People say, no, just take it easy. Go back to your home. Stay in your house. Do this, do that. But nobody knows what you're going through. I know the story of a gospel singer, Osinachi or something, from Nigeria, who got killed like that by her husband. She was a she was a very good child of God. But see what happened to her? She got killed because she got in a karmic marriage, and that husband and her were unequally yoked. But most of the time, because of the judgment in church, because of this, because of that, women stay in destructive marriages and stay silent. You need to arise and begin to fight those spirits. Get your husband to have a deliverance. If he doesn't want to, then it's another issue. Fight at least for your children. Identify the patterns. Look at the evil spirits that are operating, the type of infirmities, the uncleanliness. Even your own children are already doing. The lying spirits, the familiar spirits. What have you noticed in the family? The sisters, the brothers, the uncles, the aunts, even the grandparents. It's always very important to take the family history of your in-laws, You could be going there and being married to a family of wizards and you have no clue, because the same spirit that is in the family will show up in your husband because he has their blood. He's under their influence. Okay, and the Bible says that the life of the soul is in the blood. It means that that soul your husband has is powered by a blood contaminated by wizards. You need to know the whole family history before you engage yourself. Now, if you, for example, in a soulmate marriage, usually in those type of marriages, they are equally yoked, meaning that there are not too many issues of generational curses, because those were already dealt with before, either by the person individually, by the spouses individually, if they were already prayerful and if they understood spiritual warfare at a young age. By the time they get married, there are already a lot of things that have been cleared up. Then the spouse, you the wife, the mother, you mainly help your husband work on specific character traits. It could be, and those are a little more personal, like anger. But your role as you pray for your husband, is to help him get delivered from those personal demons. And you also pray for your children, because we are praying to ensure that we pass down generational blessings. We have to be very spiritual. We have to understand how the spirit works so that our children do not become victims. Because the way I see this new generation, it's a different typo. First of all, they are so bombarded with social media and they learn things you don't even know who comes up with that. It's a different kind of battle, you know. So you have to be vigilant. You have to be careful. Pay attention of witchcraft. There are so many witches everywhere. I can assure you that even among my patients, the mothers that I love so much and I care for their children, they are witches. And I get attacked right there in the exam room. And because I kind of know, I know what's going on. I look at the mother and I just leave the room. I conclude and I leave the room. But when I leave the room, I go in my office and the kind of prayers I pray, that mother never comes back to the clinic to see me. And it has already happened with 3 of them just this year. So you have to be very vigilant, because witchcraft is now everywhere. And it's not just the mothers. I remember I had a patient. Actually, it wasn't my patient. It was the father of a patient. You know, the patient was a mom, like an adult, and her father was like a grandfather. And because of the way I respect elders, I just went in the room, and they are from Cameroon, right? And I just wanted to say hi to the father, because the staff told me, the lady said that she wanted to introduce her dad to you. So I took the time. They were not my patients. They were seeing another provider. So I took the time to go in the room to honor the father. And I was very, very respectful and all that. Then he said that he wanted to pray for me. I said, okay, Papa, thank you for the prayers. That man, that older guy, he said he prayed for me. He put hands on my head, and I fell on the ground. Immediately, I was like, wow, this is powerful. But guess what? I got home that night, and from that night, it's as if there was a rock attached to my coccyx. to my buttocks, right? But to that particular bone, the tailbone, that's the other name. And it was as if it was so heavy. When I got home and I sat down, I couldn't stand up anymore. It was weird. And I was like, what happened? Is it the little fall I fell in the clinic? And for the next few days, I believe for 3 days, it continued and it got worse. And I was like, was this an attack? I thought it was a prayer. And it was so uncomfortable. And everything changed. My dream life changed. It was clearly an attack. Once I understood that and I prayed, I casted out, it was a demon. To me, it was a demon. I prayed, I casted out that demon, and I got better. I got healed by my prayers. But then it taught me something. Oh, I tell you, you get attacked everywhere, not just at home. You have to be vigilant. You have to be prayerful. You even at school. I cannot tell you the number of times my children came home and I just detected that something different happened. And when you ask questions, you trace it, you break it, and you see a change. Your marriage is your homework. And what is that homework? Is spiritual detection, is spiritual diagnosis. You have to become a doctor in spirituality to make the diagnosis, take the past history, come up with a treatment, I'm telling you, you have to be careful. All right. So I don't want this video to be too long. But the third type of marriage I would like to talk about is the divine marriage. In this marriage, people are coming together and they're not fighting generational curses. They are not fighting individual demons, but they are coming together for a specific divine mission. They are at another level. And even the way they think, the way they do things, it's so powerful and impactful that they come up with things no one else could have thought about. But it's just because this is what God had prepared for them. And usually these couples, they are the ones God has blessed from the beginning in Genesis 1:27. Rarely people come together as that couple, that particular couple. So I don't know what to tell you, but your homework is mainly directed toward the karmic and the soulmate relationship. See what's happening in your family, your in-laws, your husband, your children, your environment, and begin to stand in the gap for your family. All right? Thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day. Bye.